What's good, everybody? What's good? We had some fights this weekend on Showtime PBC. Danny Garcia made a debut at 154 pounds, and he looked it good. He looked it real good in the fight against Jose Benavidez, uh, brother of David Benavidez. It was a good event out there that night. You've seen a lot of people out there hanging out. Danny brought out a nice crowd. The whole card was decent. They had Gary Antuanne Russell versus Rancis Bartholomew. Uh, that was a that was a great fight for a prospect like Gary Antuanne Russell, and that fight really sharpened his tools. And these last two fights, they've been great development for Gary Antuanne Russell. And the fight ended in a questionable stoppage. Bartholomew looked like he was on his feet, that he was still ready to fight. But when he went through the procedure, when the ref, after you get knocked down, the ref, Antonio Tarver's brother, didn't like what he seen and he called the fight off. And you looked at the voting after the fight. Was it a bad stoppage? It was about 90% yes. And I kind of agree with it. But besides that, man, it was a great fight for Gary Antuanne. Got him some nice rounds. You know what I'm saying? And he's a very entertaining fighter. He's a very entertaining fighter. If you look at him, he looks in great shape. Look like he's in a way better shape than his opponent. He comes out guns blazing. Looked like he threw about 100 punches in that first round. I don't know the whole count, but you feel me? I see a little bit of development in Antuanne Russell. When I first seen him, he was doing this thing, but in a lot of these exchanges, he was leaving his feet, and that's not a great sign. And he still shows a lack of patience, because he really wants to get his opponent out of there, man. Like he said before the Victor Postal fight, he said, if I don't get him out of there in 5, I'm gonna be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Gary Antoine needs to put that much pressure on himself as he goes into these fights. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll throw you off your game plan. And he got caught in the first round. He stumbled a little bit, but it was only for a second. Rancis, he was giving him some good counters with that right hand. He was keeping Antuanne Russell at bay for a good couple rounds. He just couldn't keep the man off of him. The dude's an energizer bunny, man. He outworks his opponents to the point where he just stopped their ass. And that was a beautiful gazelle punch with that right hook that Gary Antuanne Russell knocked him down with. You know what I'm saying? And Gary Antuanne, he gets hit, but a little less in this fight, so that's good. The sky's the limit for Gary Antuanne. I think that he's one of the favorites to take over this 140 division when he get a shot at the titles. And it looks like it's gonna be a while from now because shit, Top Rank got all the belts sold up. And speaking of 140, shout out to Regis Prograis. You know, see justice did by him. At first the WBC belt, the vacant that Josh Taylor just vacated, they ordered Jose Ramirez and Zepeda to do a rematch. But for some reason, Ramirez pulled out of the fight or whatever. And now Regis is in. He get a title shot, long waited title shot after the loss in a close decision of Josh Taylor a few years ago when Taylor was on his undisputed run. And that's a fight that I'd rather see, instead of that rematch. Because we already know what's going to go down in that rematch. We know Ramirez is going to beat Zepeda because Zepeda he don't have the gas tank to deal with Ramirez. Ramirez gonna wear down on him, and he gonna win the back half of the fight. And Zepeda, I don't say he don't have a shot because he won some rounds in the beginning. He was boxing Ramirez a little bit, but you can see it. He got tired. He got tired, and the work rate of Ramirez took over the fight, and he won a decision. So I didn't really want to see that again. Regis Prograis for the fight Zepeda now. So Zepeda gets a title shot coming off of a loss. And I would have rather seen Regis fight Ramirez, the winner of the fight, which makes much more sense. But the WBC, they do what they do. They don't give a damn. So it is what it is. And another thing about the WBC, now the Jake Paul and the Hasim Rahman fight, it fell apart. No more fight. Hasim Rahman, he was contracted to fight at about 205 or something like that. And he had only lost 1 pound in the whole training camp. They was keeping up updates on his weight loss because he was trying to make the weight because he's a big man. He's a heavyweight. So he had to pretty much try to squeeze down the cruiserweight. And he said his body wouldn't let him do it. And Hasim Rahman, he kind of blew the opportunity. I mean, it is what it is. And he probably knew he couldn't make that weight like that. He just seen the Jake Paul there, and he knew that it was a guy that he could beat. So he just tried to sign, see if he could skate with the extra weight, pay that fine. And he was ready to go in there and smash Jake Paul. And that was a fight that Steven Espinoza advised Jake not to take, and he still tried to take it. But yeah, though, what I was about to say, yeah, I'm still on 140. Yeah, Gary Antuanne Russell, I don't think he's nowhere close in the ranks yet. He probably top 10 in a sanctioner body or two, but he's not that close to a title shot yet. And he probably do need a fight or two more before he jump in there for that title shot. Clean up just a couple of things. A little more of a jab. A little less anxiousness in the beginning of the fight. But you don't know shit. That's just probably who he is, and it's been working for him throughout his career so far. He got the wins over Boots Ennis in the amateurs, by outworking him. And that's a great game plan for Gary Antuanne Russell to carry his career off with. He just got to live a hell of a disciplined lifestyle outside of that ring so he can have that gas tank like that and that motor. I mean, damn. He looked like he can overwhelm pretty much anybody. I really like what I see from him. He bounced back off the loss. His two family members, immediate family members, his dad and his brother Batman, that used to be on YouTube, showing love around. And Gary Russell, Mr. Gary Russell from 126, the big brother, he was the trainer for the whole fight. And he sounded like a damn good trainer too, man. So shout out to the Russell family, man. Them dudes get it in. They the shit over there, man. And glad to see those guys bounce back from the losses in their family. I mean, goddamn. I mean, they lost their dad and their brother. Like, I think it was the same week or something like that. It's just tough. And Gary Antuanne, he came into the ring and he showed out. A lot of fighters, they lose a relative before the fight. They come out and look like shit or lose the fight altogether. So he bounced back from that adversity, and that's great to see. Now Danny Garcia, he did his thing. I don't see a round that he lost. I don't think he boxed well. He looked it real slick in there. You feel me? He was catching Jose with the right hand, the right straight, and then the left hook. The left hook didn't get through as much as I thought it would. But he cruised. He cruised to that decision, winning all 12 rounds. Danny, I don't even remember Danny Garcia looking that slick before, man. Maybe it was just Jose in defeat. Every time Jose tried to load up and hit Danny with something big, Danny touched him to that solar plex, restarting that movement. He fought a real smart fight. And PBC, they try to push Danny Garcia as the top name at 154, you know. And man, and if you look at the landscape, that division is too deep. It's too deep for Danny Garcia. You got Charlo, who has all the damn belts. I don't feel like you can beat him. I mean, Tony Harrison, he was calling him out all throughout the fight. That'll be a tough fight. I don't think he'll be able to do what he did against Jose against Tony Harrison, because Tony Harrison got better feet. He a better boxer, better jab, and that's a tough matchup. Fundora, shit, Fundora might be the first man to stop Danny Garcia. I just don't see the path of Danny Garcia at 154 supremacy. Maybe he just went up there. He finna make him a couple dollars and he finna haul ass. Maybe. And talk about PBC and Showtime for a second, right? Word out there is that Steven Espinosa really wants this Charlo Benavidez fight. A fight that us fans want that shit too. What's good, boxing learner, man? Danny versus Tim Zoo. I don't got Danny beating him either, man. Tim Zoo, he too big. He got power. He relentless with them hooks. I'm not sure about that one either. You know, I don't think Danny gonna be able to get him a belt. Maybe he could just make us some good fights at 154. Cause Danny, Danny, he ain't really no ducker like that. I mean, he'll fight somebody. I mean, he got in the ring with Spence. There's a lot of names that he's done fought, like Porter. He got a similar resume to Spencer now. But I just feel like 140 was his division. 147 and up, these guys are too big and athletic for him and have jabs, which he struggled to get around jabs. But Danny, respect for that performance he did the other day. He looked it real good against Jose. But man, 154, even at PBC, it's just too deep. You got people like Lubin, Conwell. It's too many people at 154, man. That shit arguably deeper than welterweight if you really look at it. But yeah, though, man, they want Charlo to fight Benavidez. It's time for Jamal to step it up. It's time for Jamal to step it up. And Jamal, he was on a live, IG live or something, talking shit about Demetrius Andrade, that he want that fight. And Andrade is a free agent right now. So Andrade need to, hit up PBC Showtime, or they need to hit him up and they need to put something together. I think Jamal Charlo is going to have some real smoke this year. I heard that the Selecki fight was really took off because of ticket sales and low interest from the boxing community. This kind of makes sense. And to be honest, like Jamal Charlo, like he tried to do this thing with Juneteenth every year, that he wanted to fight on Juneteenth every year, and I don't think he's gonna be able to keep up with that, because and Cause look, like me as a black boxing fan, I'm gonna tell you straight up, bro. Like it makes sense to fight a black fighter on that day. It's like, what if you go out and lose to a cherry pick? Now somebody else have this belt who got all these, black symbols and stuff on it with the freedom chains and stuff on it. Just don't look right. It just seems like you need to fight another brother on that day, just in case. You know what I'm saying? If you lose, at least another black guy has the black guy belt. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's not a race thing or nothing. What's good, Renee Box Young, man? Yeah, I seen you posted. You been gone for a while too. You feel me? I just been in chats and shit, chilling, talking my shit or whatever. But yeah, though they say Al Heyman, he don't want to make the Charlo Benavidez fight because he want to lure Canelo back to PBC with those two separately with fights, for Canelo. And right now, I'd have to disagree with Al Heyman. I have to go what Steven Espinoza is trying to do because if you make the Charlo Benavidez fight, that's more pressure on Canelo to come back and sign with y'all. Like, cause right now, you don't make the fight, and Canelo, if he run out of that DAZN deal, I think the end of his DAZN deal is after this Triple G fight. He can still look at those guys and be like, what the fuck have y'all done? Y'all ain't done nothing. You know what I'm saying? And the fans and the media, they'll justify it. They gonna say, well, what have they done? Benavidez has fought Lemieux and Kyron Davis, and Charlo has fought Montiel and haven't even fought this year. Like Canelo gonna look at that and be like, man, I ain't gotta fight these guys. But if they make that big fight, the winner of that fight, becomes a bigger star. The fight with Canelo becomes huge. You know what I'm saying? And it's more of a chance to lure Canelo back. You know what I'm saying? Now you can be like, oh, okay, he just beat Charlo ass, or he just beat Benavidez ass. He on the high horse right now. That's more of a chance of Canelo coming back. That's just my opinion. And Jamal Charlo, I don't give a damn. I'll keep saying it. I've heard him say, like, oh, I'm gonna keep fighting these level guys until I get the Canelo fight. I'm gonna keep, I'm doing good as long as my brother's shining, I'm shining. Like he says stuff like that, like especially when Jamal get drunk. You can tell, man, Jamal, he don't give a damn about nothing but that money. He don't give a damn but nothing but that money, though. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, people, trying to take your head off and stuff. I know you want to get paid and all, but I don't know. He just not helping his chances of getting that Canelo fight by just sitting back and not fighting nobody like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be the excuse for Canelo not to fight him. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, though, man, PBC, that was a decent little card with Garcia, Gary Antuanne. Oh yeah, Adam Kalnaki, he lost again after back-to-back losses to Hellenius. He lost to this dude Ali. You feel me? So it looked like his career might be heading out of the door. He might get cut by PBC Showtime. They ain't gonna want to show him no more. But props to Kalnaki for after them two losses, man. He jumped right back in there with another tough opponent. Dude only had one loss to F.A. Ajagba, and he looked like he beat Ajagba that night. So yeah, though, man. I just wanted to have my input about this weekend. and some other shit I forgot to. Oh yeah, Floyd and goddamn Tank and Oscar was still, they talk about this little clown fight, Tank and Ryan. Last thing I heard, Ryan, he said that he'll go down to 135. But I'm starting to lose faith in that fight. I already didn't really ask for it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. But it ain't, I think the chances on that fight is slim. And Spence and Crawford, still, shit, still looking okay. Steven Espinoza came out last time I heard him talk about the fight. He was like, they at a standstill right now, but ain't nobody walk away from the table. So that's still likely to happen next. But it is bad news to the fight. But it is what it is. Yeah, though, I just wanted to put my input on what's going on. I'm trying to scroll down these titles on this boxing news, see if I really missed anything like really important. But yeah, that's about it. Hopefully we get the fights that we deserve as fans. Oh yeah, and I heard that Charlo really did want the Benavidez fight. And that it's just Al Heyman that really didn't want to make the fight. It's a lot of people that go around this internet and say that Al Heyman fucking up boxing or fucking up, everything. I think that's a harsh thing to say about somebody. They say Floyd Mayweather fucked up boxing. They say, shit like that. I think that's a real, like, strong statement. I wouldn't put all of that on those guys, but I feel like there's better, like, main events that PBC could make. But, like, as far as, like, a card, they throw on good cards, in my opinion. Like, cards that make you want to watch the undercard all the way through. But, yeah, their main events are not that great at all. They could make much better fights. They got the roster to do it, but they be trying to save these middleweights for Canelo. And I just feel like that's a bad idea. Shit, Canelo, I heard Canelo took like fucking 20, 30 million less dollars to fight Bivol. And then when he come a free agent again, these guys still haven't fought nobody or each other. I just don't think that will lure him back. But all right though, y'all, man. I hear any more topics today. You feel me? I got time today, so I'll be back if it's really something I really want to report on. Oh yeah, Danny Garcia, he was talking a lot of shit before his fight. He was talking a lot of shit before his fight, discrediting Errol Spence win, saying that he wasn't there mentally and he just had excuses to wait and stuff like that. And that shit came out of nowhere. I'm like, damn, Danny Garcia going at Spence? You feel me? And he said he want to fight him again at 154, which I pray do not make that fight. Please don't make that fight under no circumstances. I don't want that to be a tune-up for Spence at 154. Nothing. That fight is over and behind in the rearview mirror. Danny Garcia, he just think that he's this huge name now. And he talked that shit before he came to 154. I'm the biggest name at 154. Oh, I do what I want. Like, man, Danny, chill the fuck out, man. And I feel like this the shit he said about that fight is just pointless because Spence was coming off of a car accident, over a year layoff. Like, what is the point of excuses to even make of that fight? You weren't even supposed to win that fight anyway. So why come with excuses? You was the underdog. So why the hell do you even care? You feel me? It seems like a lot of these fighters, like their fight week and shit, they be talking a lot of shit and making a lot of headlines. I don't know if it's even if it's to make people watch they fight or whatever. I get it and all, but I feel like that was terrible by Danny Garcia. But a great win, well, good win over Jose Benavidez. But it's gonna be interesting to see what Danny do with these full 154 pounders. Remember, Jose Benavidez is a welterweight that moved up just like Danny. But yeah, I just want to talk about this weekend. I'd be excited when Gary Antuanne Russell fights. I rushed to the house for his fight. And him being the first fight on the card is real disrespectful. PBC, clean that shit up. Make that make that man a co-main event or shit. They stepping up his competition. I guess you can try to make him a main event. Send him to his hometown. Dude is a fucking exciting ass fighter, man. And the promotion needs to be better for him and Boots. Well, they stepped up the promotion for Boots because they had Boots on the commentary for the prelim fights on YouTube, like how Ray Leonard used to be and all that. So it's a little push. They showed him about 2-3 times during the Danny Garcia fight. They need to get him out there, get him in the face of all boxing fans. That motherfucker is next up. But yeah, though, man, I'll be back tonight. Probably make a video or something. Talk more boxing. I like what's going on in boxing right now, but it could be better.